Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about a project which has been going on in news, that is about Silver Line Rail project of Kerala, and we are going to discuss about the details of this project, what are the main objective and aim of this project, and also the most importantly we are going to discuss about that why there is so much or such a large scale protest is going on against this particular railway project of Kerala. So let us start and try to understand this topic in more detail. So first of all, if you try to understand the context in which we are discussing today's topic, so obviously the government of Kerala with a total project cost of around 63,000 crore rupees has decided to establish a semi-high speed railway project that will connect the northern part of Kerala with its southern part. However, against this particular project of the current state government, some political parties, mainly opposition parties like Congress, Bharatiya Janata Party, as well as Indian Union Muslim League, along with the other local residents of the region through which this project is going to pass through, are protesting against this particular Silver Line project. So before going into this particular topic, let us try to understand the details of this project, that what this project wants to achieve. So it is a railway line project that extends for a distance of almost 529.45 km, passing through 11 districts and 11 different railway stations. All the important districts through which this project passes through, you can see particularly here given in the map, and you can see from here the north it connects Kasaragod, and in the south it connects the capital of Kerala, that is Thiruvananthapuram, and it will link the Thiruvananthapuram in the south, the capital, to Kasaragod in the north. The project is being executed and implemented by a joint venture company, that is Kerala Rail Development Corporation Limited. It is a joint venture company that is between Kerala Railway Corporation as well as the central government corporation, central government. And then if you try to understand the actual project, if you look at this, how it is passing through. So railway will move from starting from Thiruvananthapuram, passing through different regions like Kottayam, Ernakulam, and all the other important 11 districts of Kerala. Finally, the project will terminate at the northern end of Kerala, that is Kasaragod. The distance is around 532 km, which will cover in somewhere roughly about 3 hours 52 minutes. That is, you can say roughly 4 hours distance, 4 hours time it will take. And this is going to be very significantly improved time period, because as of now it takes more than 8 to 9 hours to cover the same distance. So that is what this Silver Line project aims, that it will shorten the path, shorten the time period in which the people can move from the southern end of Kerala to the northern end of Kerala. Apart from that, some other important features of this project is that the project will be using, or once the railway line has been laid out, the railway line, the trains that will be using electrical multiple unit EMU type of engine. Overall, it is expected that 9 railway wagons or 9 railway cars will be put into place, which will have a capacity to carry around 675 passengers. It will run at a standard gauge track. This is very important information, because as of now in India most of the railway tracks are of broad gauge nature. The difference between the standard gauge and broad gauge we'll discuss in the coming slides, but for now you can understand that it will run at a maximum speed of 220 kilometers per hour on a standard gauge track. The journey will be, as we discussed, completed under 4 hours. And apart from that, the government has also planned to construct several underpassages as well as service roads at distance of every 500 meters on the railway track. And out of the 11 stations, all the 10 stations will be either at the level or will be at elevated level. However, one station, that is Kozhikode, will be at the underground position. Now, obviously, the question comes, the most important topic is that why the people and other political parties are protesting against the project, if this project is aimed at increasing the connectivity, increasing the, we can say, connectivity, as well as decreasing the travel time between two parts of the Kerala. So first reason behind the protest is because it is believed that project is financially unviable. We'll discuss each of these protest reasons one by one, but for now, to get a brief overview, the first reason is the financial unviability of the project. Second reason is believed that if project is given a go ahead and start taking actual shape, then it can also cause a mass displacement of the people in the Kerala region. And third, many ecologists and ecological experts believe that if project goes on or is completed, it will also cause significant environmental harm in the we can say the ecology of the Kerala as well as to the biodiversity of the Kerala region. Now let us try to understand each of these reasons behind the protest one by one. So first of all, if we try to understand the financial issues on the ground of which this project is being protested, So first of all, it is believed that Kerala as of now is a very debt-ridden state, and this we can understand from this common point that in last 5 years, if you look at the state debt of Kerala, it has increased by 65%, and as of now, the total public debt to the GDP ratio of a state lies somewhere about 30%. Second, many opposition parties have also claimed that this project is nothing but astronomical scam in the making, because once the project is given go ahead, there will be large number of expenditure will be there which will be added, and lot of such hidden costs are there which are not displayed as per the detailed project report submitted by the government of Kerala. So it will lead to a large scale corruption and scam in the coming years. Third, it is also believed that this project is not competitive because if the project is given a go ahead and even after completion, if the ticket pricing has to be considered, the ticket pricing of the Silver Line project will match the prices that the people pay in the airlines, or at least the first class railway fare that people have to pay. So in that way, it will not be able to compete with the other modes of transportation, whether it is railways, roadways especially, or inland waterway. And also the state government in the past year have shown a very poor performance in completion of infrastructure project, whether it is in a given a limited time period or a given time period, or in terms of overall cost of project. So in both, the government has displayed time and cost overrun that will increase the overall, we can say, input cost of the project, and can also cause financial hardship to the state government in Kerala. Now coming to the second point, on which the ground of which the project is being contested is obviously the mass displacement of people, because if any infrastructure project is completed or given a go ahead, then it will cause large scale displacement. And it is believed that in Kerala, from this project itself, around 30,000 families having at least, we can say roughly individually 100,000 individuals can get displaced, and this will cause already a problem to economy of Kerala or to the hardship of the people of Kerala, because as of now, as per a recent survey, around 47.8% of the people in Kerala are having a very high level of debt, that is they are indebted, and this can actually exacerbate the situation. And because of this, obviously the displacement, high level of indebtedness can significantly cause increase in the rate of poverty in the Kerala. This is also one other point of concern. The third obvious concern, especially in the hilly regions of Kerala, and we can say such a biodiverse region of Kerala, is obviously the environmental concerns. Here, three major concerns are there. First of all, it is believed that project will pass through or cross through many precious wetlands, paddy fields, and hills. Due to this, what will happen? A large amount of structure has to be constructed. A large amount of, we can say, sediment and all these things will have to removed away, and this will actually cause problems not only on the ecology but also on the agriculture of the Kerala. Second, it is believed that due to construction of large number of embankments or to increase the height of the tracks of the railways, it can also exacerbate or intensify the flooding problems. As you know that Kerala has in past few years continuously has dealt with the problems of flood, especially during monsoon time, and is believed that by construction of such project, it will actually intensify such flooding problems by creating a barrier in the natural flow of the water or in the natural flow of the rivers, and it will block the drainage system. That is how flood can intensify. And taking these things into consideration, ecological experts, or we can say the member or a group of ecological experts of Kerala, that is Kerala Paristhithi Aikya Vedi, they have asked and actually suggested the government to abandon the project and try to find some other viable or suitable alternative. However, there are some other concerns as well apart from these three major concerns. The first is regarding the feasibility from demand perspective. As we discussed, currently the government believes that once this project is completed, around 80,000 passengers government want or feels that they will be able to board the train. But again, as you have discussed, the cost of the ticket price will be higher, and in that case, whether such number of people will be able to or will be willing to travel on the Silver Line is kind of we cannot be very sure about. So that is what the first problem lies, that is feasibility from demand perspective. Second problem is with respect to, as we discussed, the project is being constructed over the standard gauge track of the rails, which is an alien technology, because in last 160 years, if you look at the 160 years of the Indian railway history, we have actually achieved a kind of expertise in management and construction of broad gauge railways. However, using a standard gauge for this particular line will be a kind of use of alien technology, and it will make the railway is over dependent on the foreign players, and that is how this is other problems of the project. And not only that, because this project will run on the standard gauge, it cannot be connected with another gauge of the Indian Railways, and thus it will act as a standalone railway system, thus posing a problem of integration with the other network of the Indian Railways. And taking that into mind, the Metro Man of India, Engineer Sridharan, has also suggested the government to not use a standard gauge but use the broad gauge network which Indian Railways has been using for past years. Third problem is that critics says that there has been lack of consultation from the government side, especially the public and civil society, and even in those regions or such times when when consultation has been held by the government of Kerala, it has mainly been we can say attended by the public civil servants and the government officials, and most of the time even the valid questions of the public has not been addressed by the government, and government just want to portray their own viewpoint that how and why this project is significant and important for the economy of Kerala. So that is also something that which government has to work upon. They have to take into consideration the viewpoint of public and the other the civil society, and also try to take them into we can say take them into consideration when planning such a big project. So these are three other concerns: feasibility from demand perspective, the problem on technology sector, that is by using the standard gauge, and third is a lack of consultation with public and civil society. One other thing, if you want to define that what is standard gauge, standard gauge is simply the depending on the width of the railway track. So standard gauge works on 1435 millimeter of width, while the broad gauge are those railway network which are greater than 1435 millimeter in the width. So that is all about this particular scenario. However, the government has responded against all this criticism in a very positive manner, and they have said that the Silver Line project, they have actually defended the construction of this project on the ground, that this project has been commissioned taking into the demand of future travelers. Like government has said that if you look at the road conditions of Kerala, even if we increase the road network or we can say widen the road network even up to 6 lane, then in next 5 to 10 years it will not be sufficient enough to carry the load of the transportation in Kerala or publics of the Kerala. Second, it also will lead to creation of employment opportunities, and not only that, since the Silver Line connects whole northern end of Kerala to southern end of Kerala, passing through the vital stations or vital cities of Kerala, actually it will also be helpful in integrating the airports as well as IT corridors that Kerala is planning to build. So in that way, from government's point of view, this is going to be an economic game changer as far as the conditions of Kerala is concerned. Not only that, the construction of Silver Line project as per government is also going to reduce the delay, because as of now a large number of railway tracks are there in Kerala especially. They are overburdened, and no place is there where average speed of trains are more than 45 km per hour due to the high intensity or density of the railway network and the trains that follow on them. So obviously construction of new railway line will somehow decrease the burden on the normal tracks, thus reducing the delay, congestions, as well as the accidents can also be reduced because of that. Third point, why environmentalists are saying that environmental harm can occur due to this construction of this project. The government has said that this is not a well-founded allegation, because government is also planning to build several elevated stretches and underpasses through this project, as we discussed, at every 500 meter, and that is how the environmental harm will be very, very minimal or even will not be happen there. And fourth, as people have or critics have suggested that it can lead to Kerala getting into a debt trap kind of situation, and already Kerala is a debt-ridden state, has a very poor debt to GDP ratio, as well as the debt is continuously rising. Government has said that actually the government will not fund this project. Large amount of this project's expenditure will come from in the terms of or in the form of long-term loan at a low interest, especially from the Japan, and that is why government's burden will not increase. At the same time, government has also said that as progress of this project happen, the revenues that will generated from this particular Silver Line can also be used for repayment of the debt. So it will become a self-sustaining business. Government will not have to overburden by the expenditure cost of this project. So these are the four grounds on which government has tried to defend the project, as well as has tried to address the concerns of critics regarding Silver Line project. Now, if we'll try to understand that do we have any other alternative apart from this Silver Line rail project? So some experts have suggested that government should also try to look at some of the viable alternatives. One of them can be the focus on existing other modes of transportation. For example, apart from roadways, the railways, apart from that, the conditions of roadways in Kerala are becoming very worse, especially after the monsoon season. So that is something also they need to be strengthened. Apart from that, there is underdevelopment of inland waterways, which is one of the cheapest mode of transportation, and Kerala has a very huge potential of connection or development of inland waterways, because there is large number of canals are there, large number of lakes are there in the coastal regions, as well as we have several large rivers of Kerala are there that are flowing into the western regions, and that provide them a better connectivity in the waterway terms. Similarly, if you look at the airways, there is need to develop few other important airports in major cities of Kerala. So instead of focusing on the railways, these three other modes of transportation, either this should be strengthened or the scope should be found out to how to increase our connectivity in these three areas. And that is why the second point comes, that instead of relying on only one mode of transportation, whether it is roadways or railways, there is need to balance all the five modes of transportation in the Kerala. Not only that, some experts have also suggested that rather than relying on the foreign technology, for example, this particular system, the Japan is helping in development of the Kerala Silver Line railways. So instead of that, India already have shown its indigenous capability in developing trains like Train 18, that is also popularly known as Vande Bharat Express. So Kerala should try to demand such trains from the central government and should focus on indigenous technologies and indigenous development of railway tracks, railway engines, rather than relying on the foreign technologies. So these are some of the other alternatives which government can try to look into. So what we can understand from this particular topic and what we can conclude from our understanding is that there is a very urgent need to evaluate the projects on all parameters, whether it is a social parameter, environmental parameter, ecological parameter, or economic and financial parameter, as well as there is need, as Isradharan has rightly said, there is need to look into technological aspects apart from not only this aspect, but there is need to look from the technological aspect of the Silver Line project. Basically, one thing that is you can say most problematic is going to be the standard gauge being used for this particular project, that should be converted to broad gauge. Second, government can also try to explore better and viable alternatives like looking into the development of other modes of transportation. And third, obviously, since people are protesting against this, there is a need to hold wider consultation and discussion so that government can take public in confidence. And obviously, if public understand the merit of this project, then protest will obviously die down, and also in the long term government will have benefit as it can go easily in terms of land acquisition or in terms of development of this project. That is all about the Silver Line project. We try to understand the whole issues underlying this particular project of the government of Kerala. I hope you understood the issue quite well. If you like it, please like, share and subscribe. We'll come again soon with another interesting topic. Till then, take care. Thank you very much.